You are listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota. I'm your host, JP Derbergosian. With me in studio is our executive producer, Jim Pounds.
Hey, all.
And I am really looking forward to this next conversation. Rainbow Road in Minneapolis has been our first and longest supporter here on The Gailey Show. They are located at 109 West Grant Street in Minneapolis, right next to Loring Park, which for folks outside of Minneapolis, St. Paul, you don't know, that is where we hold our annual Pride every June. Their website is rainbowrd.com, and they're also open 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. Joining me right now is Jim Connolly, who is the store owner and founder, as well as Jack Moreland, who is the store manager. So, Jim and Jack, welcome to The Gailey Show.
Hi, thank you.
So, Jim, why don't we start with you and tell us about the Rainbow Road and the founding of it, because I think the history is absolutely fascinating.
Well, the store is in its 29th year, and I started the store after I lost my job at another company, and I decided that would be the last time I'd work for anybody else. I've been in the retail business since I've been 16. I started selling men's clothing at Dayton's in Rochester when I was 16.
Wow.
After college, I joined the Dayton management team and became a buyer there. And so I've always been in the retail business in some form or other since I've been 16 years old.
Wow.
So here I am at age 75, still pushing apparel.
That's amazing.
But we started the store, as I said, almost 29 years ago. We did a fair amount of traveling after I lost my job, so I was looking for businesses. And I found a business in Phoenix that is very similar to this business here today. It was called Unique on Central. And they carried a lot of the products that we now carry, but they were larger than us when we first started. So I spent some time with them. I did some traveling to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, looking at stores like mine, and then opened ours in October and started out our business cycle and went through our first holiday season. We did very well. A year later, the space next to us vacated in the mall we're in, and we took over that space. And we've simply, over the years, taken over one other additional space. So our store is relatively good size. So we've learned a lot of things over the years, from the kind of product that we carry, the kind of product that we've tried and didn't work. We've learned a lot of things in our travels, as well as in response to what we've offered our customer. Our store today is a lot different than it was when we first opened it 29 years ago.
Yes.
Not only in size, but also the mix of inventory. We carry a lot of apparel product at the current time, where we didn't have that much when we first started. We were a smaller space.
Right.
So that's how the store got off the ground. And here we are all these years later, still pushing a product.
I think of Rainbow Road as an institution. When I moved to the Twin Cities in '83, you weren't open yet. You opened, I think, in '96, right? And
yeah.
But there were a lot of gay-owned businesses. I'm thinking of Brothers Touch, and I'm thinking of Wild Roast, and I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of them. But there were a number of gay-owned businesses, small businesses, retail businesses in the cities, and you were among them. But you had this incredible location next to Loring Park, which always has seemed like a bit of the epicenter. And
it's like in any business, it's location.
Boy, and I mean,
being next to Loring Park has made a huge difference. But the Loring Park area, going back to the 1920s, has always been the gay section of our city,
right?
And that still maintains itself somewhat today, though. You'll find gay people all over the Minneapolis Twin Cities suburbs, as well as all over Minnesota and any place else. But we still have a core population down here, so it's been a very been very fortunate for us that the space that we're in now became available at that time, because I think that's one of the main reasons we've been so successful. We're just located where so many of our customers live.
I remember, I'm dating myself, but it doesn't so much matter. But I remember going into your store for videos. No more need be said, but there were videos there. And it was a place you could go at, I don't know how late you're open, 9 o'clock or something like that. And it was busy. I mean, a lot of retail stores maybe aren't having that experience, but I remember it was a hopping place. And so you had that dynamism of different times of the day, maybe when different things were popular, but you had a lot of video stuff. And now, like you say, you've made this change into apparel. Is there a way for people that haven't been there for a few years to understand when you say apparel, what are you talking about? What should they be expecting?
Well, when we first got going on the apparel side, we sold a lot of what we referred to as clubwear. Back almost 30 years ago, before we opened, at the time we opened the store and before, a lot of young guys went to the clubs dressed in something other than a blue jean and a t-shirt, which is very common today. You go to the club the way you are. Right. When we first opened the store, there was clubwear, which would be sparkly shirts, tailored pants, things that just were different than you'd wear to. You wouldn't wear it to work, and you certainly wouldn't wear it to grandma's house, but you would definitely wear it to the club. And that's the kind of things that we sold in those days.
Right.
Now, the product that we carry is a little more mainstream, and that you'd wear. Quite frankly, many things that you could buy here at my store, you'd wear to grandma's house, you could wear to church, or you could wear to the clubs too.
Especially the
there are a few things you don't want to wear to grandma's house, just so you know.
Like the Speedos, you mean? Because I'd wear the Speedos to. No, I brought JP in there when we first were doing our first schedule with you guys, and he had not been in there before, and so he got a chance to see the wide variety of stuff that's there. And he's a bit of a clothes person, so I had to hustle him out of there before we wouldn't have any money left. But I love the fact that people can go there and get things that, would you agree that they might not find someplace else? Is there a uniqueness about either the manufacturer or the style that's different than they might find in another store?
You definitely wouldn't. You won't see what we carry in Walmart. That's for sure.
Yes. Goodness.
Especially now.
The product we carry comes from all over the United States as well, all over the world.
Right.
We have stuff from Brazil, Colombia, South America, product from the European Union, France, Spain. So we have designers that are in Australia. We have designers that are in various places, Singapore. So we buy stuff with a unique look to it. And it's not the kind of product you go to find in another stores in many cases.
Right.
You certainly find them in stores like us as you travel around the United States.
Right.
You find the products in those stores also. But we're just unique enough to stand out on our own with regards to what we have available to the community that we serve.
Right.
And we go to the apparel show twice a year in Las Vegas to select our product. The apparel show is in February and in August, and that's when 12,000 designers come to Las Vegas to show off their product. Everything in men's apparel you could imagine, from tie tacks to men's suits, $5,000, $10,000 suits.
Wow.
So everything that we buy falls in a certain category there. And we have an opportunity to select new product, every 6 months. So we continue to have new fashion arriving every month because we stagger it out. So there's always new product arriving on a monthly basis.
Jim, I'm curious. So when the store first opened, what was that like for you? First time store owner, right in the epicenter of queer life in Minneapolis. I mean, that must have been a very heady experience.
Well, it was an interesting transition from what I had been doing into the retail side of it. But I had one of the vice presidents told me at Dayton's years ago when I was just a buyer, a young buyer, and he was leaving Dayton's at that point. And he said, you know, Jim, if you ever decide to do something on your own as you get older, he said, just keep one thing in mind. Do something that no one else is doing, and you're bound to be successful.
Hmm.
And that's what we did when we opened the store here. There was not another store like it in the city.
No.
We had Brothers Touch, which had it had magazines and books as an example.
Right.
Amazon books, the original Amazon books, not the Amazon of today. That was a store here in town that was gay and lesbian, was a lesbian themed store.
Right.
So there was Brothers Touch for men, and then Amazon for the women.
Right.
We came in with a whole different group of product. And as a result, we didn't pull business from any of those people. They had their own markets, and we created a new one, and it's been very successful ever since.
Yeah.
What was Loring Park like those days? I asked that question because we need to have our audience is all ages, and I feel like we need to have more intergenerational sharing of stories. And so I think that there's folks, who are 30 years young and below who don't know what Loring Park was like in the, pre-2000s. So can you share a little bit about what that was like, that space?
But this is Jack. It definitely was more gay back then. I mean, it was a big park for, shall we say, cruising, but there was a lot of people lived in the neighborhood. A lot of people still live in the neighborhood, but not as many. It's not as concentrated as it used to be. So it was a great place to be. And as I've known Jim since before he opened the store, and to come here in the middle of Loring Park, it was a safe space, and it was fun. And he offered something that wasn't available. We didn't have internet back then, so being able to see a movie was great to be able to rent one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a beacon. I mean, I always thought of it as a beacon. I felt welcome there. I felt seen there. And I saw other people. I've never been much of a bar person, and so I didn't go to the bars much. But this was a place I could go and be in public and feel, safe and wholesome. And well, I'm not wholesome, but safe and what I should have said. And I thought there was a great sort of sense of community there, which I really appreciated.
That's one of the things I really enjoy about just being here. I retired a few years ago, and kind of stumbled in one day when he was doing inventory, and he asked me to help, and so I sort of got stuck here. But it's just great because it's still a safe space for people, and it makes me feel good to see people from all walks of life that come in. We get parents or aunts or uncles that have discovered they have a gay child or a gay nephew or niece, and they are looking for flags or pins or in some way to support people, and that stuff just makes me so happy to realize that so many good people out there. So we see a lot of really great people here, and hopefully they always feel safe and comfortable.
Well, that is you have a prime location for folks that are arriving at Pride and are also leaving Pride and feeling the high of that. I don't mean a drug high. Well, I mean, you all get what I'm trying to say. We are talking with Jim Connolly, who is the founder and owner of Rainbow Road, and Jack Moreland, who is the store manager for Rainbow Road. We are going to take a break here, more with Jack and Jim after these messages from our sponsors who make progressive news and talk possible in Minnesota. So visit them and tell them that you heard about them on The Gailey Show. Be sure to visit us on Blue Sky at thegaileyshow.org for more progressive news and analysis. Quick break here. We'll see you on the flip side. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm your host, JP Darabagosian. With me here is the owner and founder of Rainbow Road, Jim Connolly, and store manager, Jack Moreland. They have been, and continue to be our longest supporters here at the Gailey Show. And so I'm so thrilled that we could sit down with them and talk about Rainbow Road and what it has meant to the community over the past 29 years. You can shop in store 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. They are located at 109 West Grand Street in Minneapolis, right next to Loring Park. And the website is rainbowrd.com. Jack, then maybe a question for you is, how have you seen the what you offer in the store rather change over the years, given the different shifts and changes in the neighborhood and the new generations that are coming into the store?
Well, it has been amazing because when I first was coming to the store and knew Jim, and it was movies and club music, which you didn't have streaming music back then, so people were coming in and buying local DJ music, and then he started having a lot of sort of kitschy, fun stuff. I think I have every Wizard of Oz character I got from here, and so, but then over the years, as things started to change and internet buying became more available, a lot of the stuff that we would have carried before it's almost easier to get online. So Jim just started increasing the amount of clothes he had, and looking for styles that were popular too with gay men of all ages, and so it's changed. It's adding adult novelties, and you're trying to have make it a one-stop shop of being able to come and buy clothes and other things you might need. And so it's right now he's constantly changing and trying to upgrade and add new things to keep it fresh. And I think that's what I've said to him for years. I've said, it's amazing. Every time I come in here, it's like a new place. There's always something new and creative. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't, but it's just awesome that despite the fact that he's like 100 years old, the store is he just keeps coming up with new ideas.
Wait, I'm 100 years old.
And one thing too that I want to point out is that when I first opened the store was very bright, white walls, nothing dark about it at all. Mm-hmm. And some of the older customers on the radio may remember places you'd go to where if you wanted to go to get movies or magazines, it was always very dark and dank, perhaps down the basement. It wasn't a comfortable or friendly place to shop. No. And Jack was right. When we first opened the store, we created an environment that looked like any other retail store downtown. Mm-hmm. We created a store, I think, that would be like if you walked into a section of the old Dayton Company. It was clean, it was bright, you were welcomed. There was no reason to be embarrassed that you were here. There was no shame associated with your purchase. Right. It's just life, and we treated all people from all aspects of life that come in here, with dignity. And that's what we hope that we've always done, and we'd like to, continue to do that.
And you had great cards. If you wanted to give a snarky card to somebody, or a dirty card or whatever to somebody for an event, you thought, well, I'm not going to find that at Dayton's, but you guys had
that's for sure. It was that mix of product that got people to come to our store. We had greeting cards, we had movies, we had shirts, we had shorts, we had underwear, and our mix has just expanded upon that over the years. And we just keep on trying to better ourselves each year. And that's all we can hope to do, I guess, in the retail business is just to continue to improve and satisfy our customers.
Right. Has the online store, I'm sure it's expanded the number of SKUs you offer. I imagine that's true, or yeah.
It just makes more available that we just can't carry everything in the store.
Right.
So queer-owned businesses have been so crucial to the development of our communities and also the larger movements. And being open 29 years, you've seen a lot of generational changes in Loring Park, but also in the country. Not to get too much into politics right now, but how are you all like processing what we're being forced to live through right now?
Well, I think one of the things that I'm happy with, or not happy with, I'm not happy at all, but is that places like Rainbow Road and some of the clubs and, oh my gosh, my brain just stopped. The gay library. Oh my gosh, brain just stopped. Anyways, those places are going to become, I believe, more critical for people to have safe spaces in the time when they're starting to feel more threatened. So hopefully we can always be that, continue to be one of the safe places to go and feel comfortable and safe. And I think we just have to bind together as best as we can and not pick on each other, because we need each other more than ever.
Boy, is that the truth. It's back to 1961 again, I guess. But
yeah, I'm afraid so.
Yeah.
Jim, how about for you?
I think that Jack hit the nail on the head. That we're, we reach out and try to be something to everybody. Though we can't satisfy all of our customers' needs at any one day, we are here. We're supportive. It's a queer shop, and people who come in feel comfortable. And I think that's the key to talk about to people who are not gay, is to let them know that we're just regular people also. There's nothing different about us other than who we wish to marry. We still go to work. We still go to church. We still do all the things that anybody else does. So we just have to emphasize in this time right now that we're in, that we're just folks just like everybody else, and we're here to stay. It's not going anywhere.
Thank you for that. Jim Connolly, store owner and founder of Rainbow Road, and Jack Moreland, store manager of Rainbow Road. Thank you both for joining us here on The Gailey Show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You can shop in store 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week at 109 West Grand Street in Minneapolis, right next to Loring Park, or visit their website, rainbowrd.com. Thanks, everyone, for listening and or watching today. See you tomorrow at 2 p.m. The Matt McNeil Show is up next. And after that, stay tuned for Native Roots Radio. Bye.